honestly, I kid you not, I went over this shot cycle 50 to 100 times the course of that day. I'm with these guys who are expecting this, this guy's gonna execute.
Yeah,
Uh,
this guy's a professional hunter.
21 years in law enforcement, I've shot a lot of guns.
Yeah.
I've been on some teams where I put a lot of rounds downrange. And at, at 240, I missed. It's embarrassing. But the thing is, at least I'm so thankful it was a clean miss. Went right over his back.
So we already started telling the story. We're gonna have to start over here.
Yeah, man, it was cool.
Yeah. So you just got back 2 weeks ago, I think. You hunted
Last week.
last.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you hunted antelope in Wyoming.
Huh? Yeah. Yeah. This what is today? Wednesday? Yeah, I shot the goat last Wednesday.
No kidding.
Got home Thursday.
It's cool. It's fresh.
What's that?
It's a fresh memory.
Yeah. Man, it's a great one too.
Yeah, cool.
I mean, shoot, man, I probably think all my stories are cool and everybody just laughs and says that's nothing. Florida boy, go back home.
Was it your first antelope hunt?
It was.
I didn't realize this.
Yeah. So it's a good way to start. I thought it was going to be easy. I even told Patrick when I got there, I'm like, man, I've seen antelope hunting. I mean, I've been out west. I've been going out for a while now. I see antelope all the time, but this isn't going to be that hard, is it? And he's like, oh, buddy, just wait.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was in Unit 47 with, the outfitters we partner with there. And holy smokes, man. It was a great hunt. First 2 days, I think between 25 and 30-mile-an-hour sustained winds, higher, much higher gusts.
First off, did you drive or did you fly?
Flew to Denver, drove up. Yeah. And Denver's an easy airport to get into. It's been for me, that's primarily, and I don't know how many times I've been out in Denver. If I'm Colorado, West Nebraska, Wyoming, shoot, now that's probably those three. I fly to Denver. I've never had an issue checking weapons, checking meat on planes. Folks, we get asked a lot, what do I do with my meat? Do I just ship my meat? But brother, if you can, depending on what it is, if we can get it in the cooler with dry ice, man, check that thing as luggage. Save you a lot of money. So yeah, I've never had an issue with Denver. I always try to fly there. It's 4-hour drive up to Casper. I was right outside of Casper. I'm hunted just south. Stayed in Casper. The lodge is right on the edge of Casper. So yeah, it's not. I drew with 4 points in the special draw. If anybody, well, yeah, the 31st of October ends your ability to get preference points for the current year. And that'll be the same for 2026.
2 days from now.
Yeah. Yeah, from now. So we probably just passed it, but yeah, for antelope with this group, if you're at 4 points, probably for 2026, you'll be pretty close. I think my group 4 on the special was a 66, give or take, % chance of drawing, and I drew.
Okay.
So next year, maybe it goes to 5. There's one other unit I think will draw with 4 next year. I was looking at them 2 nights ago. But if you have 4 antelope points and you want to go get on a crazy fun antelope hunt and stay out of a gorgeous lodge next year, this is it. Go to OI website and look at antelope and look at Wyoming, and the pictures are there for this lodge. Or reach out to me or Kyle. We've got them. It's immaculate. Yeah, it's immaculate. So I drive up, go to the lodge. Patrick meets me there. Right off the bat, knockout. Hey, there's a disclaimer for his insurance purposes. We got to get through. That's easy. He signs the license, tags to make sure we're good to go if we harvest. And then we just go, we sit there, man. We're in this beautiful, so it was just me, but the lodge, I think, has 5 bedrooms, all nice, beautiful bathrooms, massive living area, a wine cellar, a full bar with pool table. And then, a walkout kind of seating patio area with grill. Kitchen's a gourmet kitchen. It doesn't, there's nothing you're not going to want in this house. You're going to get there and be like, there's more stuff here than I can do with. I was in it by myself. So it was kind of, one of the guys asked me later, like, were you lonely? I'm like, well, I kind of was. Katie was supposed to come originally, but then Europe kind of spun off between her being able to get availability from work. She couldn't make it happen. So it was me. So we hung out and we just talked about antelope and hunting and the outfit and what they have to offer, even, for mule deer, elk. I think they can get into some sheep too for folks that can draw. But, primarily we discussed elk, mule deer, antelope, and then got into antelope. And so we're BSing. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just in my head. Shame on me. I went out there thinking I was going to have a pretty easy hunt, most likely successful, with having to worry per se. I wanted a representative. I didn't, if I come across the biggest buck on the prairie, great. But my initial goal was not, an 80-incher and above. Like, I'd have been happy with a 70, on a good, with a good story, good experience. Oh, he's like, man, we're going to go for more than what you're expecting then. He's like, well, he's like, this unit this year is great. And so what I saw, it absolutely was. There were some really good bucks. So we're just going over and I'm like, man, these things are pretty easy to hunt. he's he's like, man, no. He's like, not only are their vision is unlike any of the other four-legged animals you've probably hunted. He's like, they will see you for a long way off. And now that they've been hunted for a couple weeks, he's like, they're going to bolt. You're going to have to work to stay out of sight and be able to get within shooting range of them.
And they act different than other big game. They just act weird.
It's weird.
Everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is. You could probably say this about anything. This is how I felt though. They knew, like, if there was a buck in a group that's like, oh, let's get close. Let's do something with this one. It's like they knew, and boom.
Yep.
I mean, the first day again, it's 25 to 30 mile an hour winds. So the real wind affects them a little. They get real skittish with wind that high because it completely takes, basically they're hearing and they're sent away. All they have is vision. So if there's something that don't look right, boom, they're gone. And I'm talking, Cory, 2,000 yards away. If they saw the truck, we were in a side by side that first day. I'll get to the kind of how it plays out for the hunt. But if they saw a glimmer of something, I mean, you could pick them up in your glass, but it's like, gosh, dang, man, how are we going to make this happen?
Yeah.
This is going to be hard.
They can see as well because you can with 8 power.
It's nuts. Yeah. And it's not like you can take a long shot in that kind of wind. I mean, I take that back. There's some guys and girls that absolutely can. I'm not one of them. Not going to happen. I'm an okay shot. I can't do that. So it's like, crap, man, we got to get within a couple hundred yards to make this happen in this kind of wind, especially on a buck that we would have, thought was, yep, this is the caliber of what we want to do.
In open
country. Yeah. Which I'm telling, these guys are great. You really learn to play what normally you would look at the terrain feature and be like, nah, you like the slightest little,
you can use
of the prairie. And it's like, okay, we can put that to use. So we were having to do that a lot. But the primary way we were getting around, now we were there first light. It's pretty cold, low 30s, super high wind. We got in a side by side, and then you have a lot of ground to cover. I mean, you can see so far, right, on the prairie. So you've done a number of antelope hunts. You have to cover a lot of ground because you may have a group here, but there may not be another group for a long way, and it's not like you're walking from this group to the next like you're just going to eat up all your time, and one little mistake and that pretty much ends your day because you just can't cover the amount of ground. So it was a lot by side for folks that they need, mobility reasons, physicality, like they need a hunt that's not real steep and physically demanding. This is it, man. This is a great opportunity to get out and hunt a hard animal to hunt, but be able to do it somewhat comfortably and within the threshold of what you can kind of put forth physically. So we were, in the side by side. It was myself, Patrick, and then a guy, Coulter. These dudes, Cory, I thought I was getting okay, being able to see animals on a hill. Man, we're going along, and I'd hear Coulter in the back. Hey, Patrick, stop. There's a group over here. And I'd turn around, and he would point. And Cory, I'm like, the hell is he looking at? I couldn't find him in the glass. I'm like, and he would have to guide me into it. And I'm like, son of a bitch, there's like 30 of them there. How did I miss? So they've done it so much and they're so good at it. Like, it was nice to have two sets of eyes. So yeah, the whole day, I mean, we're just glassing, glassing, glassing. We see some good bucks. By the end of the day, we end up in one area that was it almost had a wall. It was like a little bottom. It was flat, creek bottom, if you will, but open, no timber at all. And just had a little creek going through it. And it was just this bottom that had a kind of a ridge or a wall all the way around it with a couple little, I don't know, cutouts that would go to like hog back. Like on the far side, it opened up a little bit and kind of went up into the country. And we found a really good buck in there. And, when you hear the guide say, "Oh man, that's a good one." It's like, all right. And so we're looking out and it was just that first day we were losing some light. It's like, we could probably make a move, but it's going to be tough. And the likelihood we bump him is pretty high. Let's put him to bed here and come back first thing the next morning. And so that's what we did. Now, that whole day, I don't know how many hundreds of antelope we looked at. So, high quantity of animals, some really good bucks that we couldn't make a move on. We didn't, right off the bat, we found this freak buck. His horn kind of came off and went out to the side, but he was big. I mean, real heavy. They think he'll score 80 or over. He's a big, big buck. And we made a move on him and we don't know what happened. They just dropped down over this ridge and we were like, we'll get there. And we were quiet. Wind was perfect. And we get to the edge, creep over, expect them to be right below us. And they're 1,000 yards up ahead. So you don't realize until you see them how much ground they cover, how much ground they can cover quick. It just doesn't, because I guess it's open prairie and you see them run and it's like, you don't realize how much ground that is they're covering. They were 1,000 yards or more. So we didn't get him. We put the other one to bed. We saw a ton of antelope and just, big, beautiful open country. And so get back to the lodge. Patrick cooks up dinner and the dinners are, he'll have a conversation with you on what is it you want to eat. So I have some dietary restrictions that had to come into play. So
Vegetarian, aren't you?
you knew it. Dang. So, I want to put a picture up. Well, we don't need to do it on the podcast. I'll put it on social media. You'll laugh at that
Okay.
comment you just made.
Okay,
about
good.
vegetarian. So so we did the food up, man, great food. Sat there again, had a little fellowship and then, off he went. I went to sleep. He's like, I'll be here at 6. He was there at 5:50 the next morning, him and Coulter. Boom. Off we're going. I mean, he's like, I want to be unloading the side by side as the sun's coming up. So he's like, I don't want to be there before because we don't want to be pushing out in the prairie before we can see anything.
Nick,
Timing was perfect
how they glow
with that.
at that magic hour, how antelope,
Yeah.
like neon signs.
Beacon.
Yeah.
Yep. So we immediately went to where that big one was and we find him. And again, it's like, oh man, there he is. He's big. But he was on the far side of this flat. So we wind around the top that, how I said there was kind of like this ridge or wall that went up and we were on top of that. We went all the way around and where he and the herd, they never saw us. They never acted spooky. They just kind of fed up and over this, I guess like a hogback or this little area where they're out of view, but it was really likely they were on private. So we didn't end up making a move on them. And he's like, man, it's risky to go up there and again, bump him out of this. We know he's here. Let's come back later. Let's go look for others. So we push on around and we look at, just a ton of antelope. So we're glass and find an antelope, not the one we want. Glass, find antelope, not the one we want. We get up high and get out of the side by side and creep to the edge and kind of glass these bottoms where he had seen them the week before. And everything had moved out into flat, probably because of the wind. They just got out in the middle of that prairie where they can see forever. I would assume it's a kind of a way that whether it's instinct or not to just get out and put the only thing they have in their favor to use. So again, we try to make moves on a couple others. And these are bucks and probably low 70s. They're good quality antelope. They're nice bucks. And I'd have been happy with them, but they're like, no, we're not going to let you do this. There's bigger. And I'm like, guys, I want a good representative animal to be able to show folks like, boom, like there's bigger this way. So I don't know, man, it's maybe midday and we find 2 bucks and a herd of does there's a couple bucks, but there's 2 really good ones, probably mid-7. Again, going back, like we've talked a number of times, the decision they wanted to make was probably a little different than I would have. But hey, I'm with them. I'm going with them. They're on the antelope are on like a little plateau, and there was just enough drop in terrain where we could go around the edge, and the wind was not blowing to them from us, but it wasn't the best condition. If there was any switch or adjustment in that wind, we might have been in trouble, but that didn't happen. It was a perfect play, man. We get the side by side set up, and after we're completely out of view, they're a little higher than us, and then we're going to stalk up and just peek over the top. It was rolling, but just get to where we could see over the top. So we do that. And Coulter goes first. I remain back. I think even Patrick remained back. Coulter, he turns around. He's like, yeah, they're out here. So I stay back. Patrick creeps up. They have a little bit of conversation like, hey, man, they're right out. They're out there. Like they're within range. We're going to creep up a little farther, put ourselves in a little better position for shooting. Maybe I can't remember if the grass was too high. We were. I don't know what the reason was, but so we belly crawl up. I don't know, call it 30 yards. And now you can extend the
Oh, I'm
pods.
sorry.
You all right, man? That was a hard one.
I tried not
Jeez,
to
oh
make
my.
noise and it about blew my head off.
So we extend the bipod fully. And with doing that, I get just enough above the grass that I can see them. We lay down, or we're already laid down, but I kind of get set up behind the gun. I'm like, man, this isn't a good position for me, but whatever, we got to make it work. So one thing I normally do, I love, even though I didn't need it on this, every time we got out, I grabbed my pack. I love being able to either, if I need to brace either throw a gun on a pack or throw myself on the pack. In this case, what I would have done is I would have put myself on it. Because what I ended up having to do was, I mean, literally to get the butt up high enough and be level to shoot with the way the terrain was and where they were, I was on my elbows. Not preferred. I thought they said 275 in the end. I think it was 240, 242, 240, whatever. A doable shot, right? So especially prone. So they're the bigger of the two, they don't know we're there. They're grazing around. There's a couple does bedded. The way he's positioned in front of me, there's a doe behind him. So we're waiting. And Patrick's like, are you good when he moves? I'm like, yeah, it's a 240. Wind's blowing. It's not well, it probably was, I don't know what it was, maybe 15, 20 crosswind. A little bit quartering from behind, but moves out and he's like, it's on you. He's at, whatever. He probably told me the distance. I can't remember now, but he's talking with me, but I'm so focused. I don't remember everything. And I'm up and I'm like, yep, this is it. I waited. I wanted him to take a step and open up his shoulder, and the wind laid down, or what I felt like laid down, and I squeezed off. And Cory, I'll say it in front of everybody, I completely missed. Coulter was filming it. It went over his back. My right to left was perfect, so, windage wasn't an issue. Honestly, I kid you not, I went over this shot cycle 50 to 100 times the course of that day. I mean, it put, hey, for folks that have done it, like, you know what I'm talking about. It's a horrible feeling. It's embarrassing.
About.
Yeah. I'm with these guys who are expecting this, this guy's gonna execute.
Yeah, this guy's a professional hunter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And 21 years in law enforcement, I've shot a lot of guns.
Yeah.
I've been on some teams where I put a lot of rounds downrange. And at 240, I missed. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's still embarrassing. But the thing is, at least I'm so thankful it was a clean miss. Went right over his back. They looked at the footage, because as you know, if it's not, and let's say, it's a belly shot and it runs off into, because there was private right there, and we don't get granted access to go on private and either retrieve him or try to find him, my hunt's done.
Yep.
And we have a wounded animal that's not, it's really, for me, it would be more sickening that there's this animal that is now either suffering or dead and nothing's going to be done with it, as much as losing the hunt. But the reality is, at that point, if that's what happens, hunt's over.
Yep.
That's it. And,
yeah,
and outfitters done their job. They put in this case, he did his job. And that, I kept telling him, like, man, you did your job. I just didn't execute. I don't know why. I still over in my head, I'm like, man, I couldn't have done. I don't know. We're not going to I miss, period.
This spring, I missed a black buck in Argentina under 100 yards on my knees, sitting down, shot right over him. I have no idea how or why. I have no idea, but it happens sometimes. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yep.
Yeah.
So for our clients, if that happens, and it's a clean miss, well, all right, let's get back to hunting because it took me a bit. And even Coulter's like, man, that's over. Like, let's go. And it took me a minute in my own head to get out of my butt and be like,
It rankles you.
I know I don't suck.
Yeah.
I know I don't suck. I know I'm not great, but that 1000% a doable shot and one has been made over and over, whether on the range or on and like I don't know what happened, but it happened. Antelope bust out. Actually, they didn't even they didn't know what happened.
Just away.
Yeah, they went on back to feeding, but they had moved on to private. So we're like, all right, well, let's just back out. If we need to, we'll come back. They're not the biggest bucks, but they're good bucks. So we leave them. I'm still butthurt with myself. So slowly start working out of it. Patrick has to go and tend to some stuff on the business side of the house. So it's me and Coulter. And man, I give him credit, dude. He worked. Yeah, I wasn't. He could probably tell I was a different person for a little bit than what I have been because I'm normally pretty jovial. And with these guys, man, I love the conversation and love learning. And it took me a minute to get over myself. But he worked, man. He just kept. He's like, all right, there's a group, let's go. And we were making push after push after push. Come the end of the day, we see a pretty good buck, and it's lit, it's sunlit. Well, the sun's going down, but the way the buck was, it looked big, and I'm like, dang, Coulter, that's a really good buck. He's like, man, there's bigger. That's not what you want. He's like, if you want to do it, he's over 70. We'll do it. I'm like, man, I want to get closer. He's like, all right. So we make the push. We get to the top of a ridge, and it's, again, the wind had died down at this point. We were elevated, a great position. They didn't know we were there. It can be done. He's like, man, look at him. And so I looked at him through his spotter, and it's like, man, he just looks so much bigger. I mean, he's big, he's good, but we had been looking at bigger ones. We passed up a stalk or two on some bigger ones just 2 hours before. I'm like, all right, I'll pass. We got one more day. I'll pass. Let me get back and kind of go get over myself. And, let's put this day behind us. It was a great day. Saw a ton of antelope, had some good opportunities, sent around, had a chance at this one and elected not to. And so we go. Start the next day. Well, so for folks that may have gone through the same situation, man, I got back. And at the lodge, man, I just kept going over in my head this shot cycle. Like, did I do everything I should have done? I still feel like I did. I don't know, other than my positioning not being the best prone position, I don't know that I could have or would have changed anything. Nonetheless, I just kept, in my head, okay, let me just go through it again, go through it again, go through it again, and practice. Like, how is this tomorrow? How do I want this to go? There's something, it's not real practice. You're not sending rounds at a target. Yeah, but it matters. I can tell you it matters from 21 years of having to do it in life or, in planning for a life or death experience. It sets course for what you're going to do under stress. How about that? So I saw all I did that night. I mean, I went over it over and over and over it. So the next day, man, I was back. I was ready. It was Coulter again. And then another guy, Zach. I'll say it here. I can't talk highly enough about these guys, man. Great guy. Like, conversation was great. We're cutting up, having a blast. And these dudes are hunters. I mean, they wanted to hunt and find a buck as much as I did. Like, it's go time. And I think Coulter even said, are you over it now? You good? Like, yeah, man. Let's freaking go.
You done whining?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I need that. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, man. Let's go. So we do. It's like, all right, we're going to go back to that same big buck in that little flat below that, well, the one that we thought went on private the day before. This is the third day where we're going to go look at him again. So we get there, we're glassing, and we're not seeing him. We're not seeing him. And all of a sudden, Zach's like, oh man, there's a big one. And it was one he had seen just a little farther down this same flat area, but we have to access it down the road a little. So we're in a truck. We're in Zach's truck. And so it's like, all right. He's like, man, he's on private. He's big. He's 80 plus. Well over 80. He's a great buck. So we drive up, creep, And we get to a point where we can now see into this open area where they're at. I mean, we're talking probably 1,500 yards out. Now, the wind this third day is dead. There's no wind. The sun's popping up, man. There's not a cloud in the sky. It's absolutely stunning. And so the sun is creeped up. Now everything, all these antelope are just glowing out here. And so he looks again. He's like, man, that is a big, that buck has everything we want. Like, let's go. But we don't know how we're going to do it because he's out in the middle of this. There is no terrain, none. And he's, call it 150 yards from private. He's on the BLM. I think it was BLM, 150 from private. And there's a road that goes down this 2-track that goes between where he's with another smaller buck and some does, I think. And there's a 2-track that would go between him and the private. So worst case scenario, if they bump, hopefully they bump further out into the public. He's like, but man, the only play we have, it's day 3. He's the biggest one we've seen, is to just drive out as close as we can get until you can shoot.
Driving?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So, all right, let's do it. That's a Boone and Crockett buck. Let's do it. I'm not going to lie though. In my head, I'm like, this isn't how I want to kill this buck. I'll do it.
Yeah.
But it's not what I want.
Right.
So we're creeping. He's not bumping. He's, we get to within shooting distance. It's like, all right, slide out. So we slide out. There's a little, I don't know, it's some, maybe it was I don't know. There's just enough of a hump in the ground to where that's what we're going to lay on and get a shot off. So we lay down, dial in, and they bump. And so now I'm like, crap. So I start tracking him and he would stop and I'd get in line and then he'd bump again. Like it was just like this. They'd run a little bit. They weren't completely spooked, but it's like, this isn't right. And they'd stop and look and then, jump a little more, all within shooting distance though. So I'm like spinning around, if you can imagine this little hill, trying to track them. And it gets to a point where I don't know how far they were, but it was far enough now that they're blurred because the parallax needed adjusting. So it's like, God. So the amount of time it took me to do that, they move again.
They're out of range.
And I spin all the way around this thing almost. And they're up along the fence line that goes to the private. Well, antelope they're not, they're going to go under if they can before they go over. So it's taking a minute. I'm like, oh man, I might get a shot. But I didn't. And he crawls under. And it's like, as soon as he it's crazy. As soon as he crawled under, he's fine. It's like he knew.
Yeah.
I just got to make this fence.
Right.
It was so crazy. It was complete calm after that. And then he just went back to grazing and it was done. There wasn't, there's no shot you can take. Really big antelope. We watched him for a minute. So it's like, okay, well, that's done. In my head, I was not upset. And I'm like, I'm not. And maybe I even told him, like, that's not how I want it to go. Like I would have, because that is a Boone and Crockett buck. But I'm not disappointed.
Right.
At all. So we leave and now we can glass that same bottom where that earlier buck, where the one we had been after 3 days was at. So we're at a different vantage point and damn it if we don't find him, man. And he is in a perfect spot. He's tucked up in there. There was almost like this little cutout where that flat area went back in up against some high ground to where, and they bedded down, but it's to where you could get high. You could get really close up high to have a shot and be out of view the whole time until you crept up to the edge. And the wind was, well, what little breeze there was perfect. It was blowing away from them. So like, all right, well, we got them. At the same time, excuse me, Zach's like, man, there's a couple big ones over here too. And they're, I don't know, maybe 2,000 yards away. And at the time he says that, the one maybe he didn't bed down, the does were, he drops down into like there's a little creek bottom and we can't see him. So it's like, man, we could go all the way around and they either are gone or the hope is they bed down. He's like, let's leave them alone. Let them bed down. They're going to go to bed here in a little bit. They're not spooked. Like they're just grazing around, but they're not, how, like if they're grazing and they're kind of moving along, there's a direction they're going. They were just literally staying in this one little area. So it's like, all right, pretty confident they'll stay there. So we go. The goal on the other two was there was a really big ridge line that went alongside where they were, but it's big. So we're going to drive around and on the top of it and then glass from up top. Long story short, we glassed from a number of different areas and they had moved farther out into the flat and we couldn't have gone down. We were going to just drop down but there was one little hill that we could have dropped down behind. They wouldn't have seen us and get a shot from. But the way they moved to, we couldn't have gotten, they would have seen us no matter which way we went at it. So we would have had to come at them from the bottom. But when we looked back out to where we saw the first buck, we saw where they had bedded down. They finally bedded down, and we saw where they were at, perfect position. So we're like, okay, we're going to leave these and go back to him. But before we do that, there's a really cool moment, and I didn't pick up on it at first, but I have it on camera, where I took a photo of Coulter and Zach, and they're on the edge of this ridge top, and they're either glassing down or they're both point, like you can see them, like the silhouette is, they're hunters looking down at animal.
Yeah.
What I didn't know, there's a freaking teepee ring in the background.
Wow. Cool.
Way back.
Huh.
So at some point, man, however long ago, there were dudes doing that exact freaking thing.
Yep.
On that exact spot. And here we are, and I get in and I take a photo of it. Because as we go to walk off, he's like, man, you see the teepee rings? And so there's a couple of them scattered. I'm like, shit, no. I'm like, is that like, do they do like an annual event? He's like, oh no, man, those
are ancient.
No, that's sacred right there. Yeah. Those, no. I'm like, man. So I went and looked at my photos, and sure enough, in the background, you see this teepee ring. And I'm like, man, how cool is that?
Yeah, that's very cool.
These dudes are on the same spot where somebody else hundreds of years ago was doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what they were looking at? Maybe buffalo. Who knows?
Right.
But that was cool. Really, again, for me, man, it comes down, all these things are about experience.
Absolutely.
And so that was really cool. Like, man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So we go across, and we're going to go at this guy for the third day. And now it's getting to be midday, maybe close to 1. I don't know. So my time's ending up, but it doesn't matter. I sent around. I had my chance. So, but I'm not butt hurt today.
Right.
Where it's go time. Like we're going to do work. And so we get back around, get set up. He is still bedded down, and we make this plan. I think they said, I didn't measure it. I guess they did or something, maybe 1.5 miles that we had to slip behind a couple hog backs, and we bumped a herd of does. And as they're spooking, it's like, if they go over the next ridge, they're literally going to run right by our buck. Or if they run on the close side of that same ridge, they won't spook him. And we got lucky. It's all about, I'll take luck over skill. They ran on the close side, which means they didn't run by the buck. It's like, oh, thank God, he's probably still there. So we bump up to where we can kind of see him. It's still a long ways off. Again, Coulter and Zach are like, man, we could go out and around this other hill and have a 300-yard shot, or we can go down this hog back and creep over a rock. We'll see how far that is. We don't know. He's like, all right, let's just stay out of view completely. The winds works for us no matter what we do. Let's just completely stay out of view until the last second when we creep over these rocks. So that's what we do. We move way on down, creep over the rocks, and Zach's like, come on. I crawl up, man, and here he is. He ended up being 550. The does are bedded. He's feeding. There's another buck that's pretty good. But the one we've been after, man, there he is. He's doing his thing. And Zach's like, it's on you, man, when you're ready. And so I sent it. And Cory, I have a new respect for these animals. Going back to what Patrick said initially, like, we talked about these, they're not easy to hunt. He's like, and they're a hardy animal, man. They do not want to die. Like, they just don't want to die. Cory, this shot could not have been placed in my opinion, couldn't have been placed any better. I mean, it was just behind his shoulder, both lungs. I mean, the exit was crazy. And he dropped, like, just like what you want to, just life's out of him, done, drop. And I'm like, holy smokes, I did it from 550, made up for the error on the day before. That's a challenging shot for me anyway. It's not a
long ways.
It's not a slam dunk.
Right.
So he dropped, and I couldn't tell you how good I felt, man. I'm like, man, I made it happen. We executed, and we did it the way I wanted to. We had to work. I didn't hop out of a truck. I didn't have a 20-yard stalk and climb over a hill. Like, we worked, and we had to overcome some things that might have screwed it up, and it didn't. And all of a sudden, this thing, his leg kicks, and then he gets up, and I'm looking through the scope, and I'm like, holy smokes. And Zach's like, don't worry, man, it's done. But this goat stands up, and this is how I'll equate it. It's like he took a hit from Mike Tyson, and he stands up,
shaking up.
And I swear to God, I feel like this thing just shook his head and then started walking. And Cory, then he started bounding. And then he jumps a ditch, and I'm like, "There's no way." This thing did not wanna go, man, and the whole time Coulter's like,
You're
"He's
good.
gone, it's
You're
done."
good.
I was like, "Zach, I wanna send another one." Like, I don't number 1, I don't want him if he goes off and around, like, I don't we think it's a perfect shot, but what if it's not? Like, I don't want him to suffer. I'm like, "I wanna send another one." He's like, "Alright." So I did, you know, and, 550 again, maybe he had gone a little bit from me, he's farther, I don't know, but boom, perfect, he drops, it's done, over. I'm like, "Okay, good. He's not suffering, done deal," and I think I recouped the miss, like, that's two in a row, boom, boom,
Right.
and now you know what happens. I mean, everybody's elated. It's like, man, that's freaking awesome. Like everybody's happy. So that's that, man. That was the antelope hunt, and we get down, and these guys they're going to work, and I'm like, what do I need? Like, I want to help. I forgot my kill kit was at the high. Actually left it in my truck at the dang
Right.
airport.
Right.
Like, crap, man, I need to borrow a knife. He's like, dude, you ain't doing nothing. I'm like, man,
Sit back
he's
and
like,
enjoy it.
that's what our clients are going to get. Sit back and just enjoy this moment. And so I did, man. And it's just, you're looking around, it's like, man, I'm in Wyoming, this beautiful country, days of seeing antelope, days of stalks, days of opportunities, one blown opportunity, just motions up and down with some great dudes. And it ends up in a win with, he ended up, I mean, green scoring, who knows what he'll come back as, but 70, a little over 77. So he's a really good buck, man.
Yeah.
Beautiful buck. He's wide. And he's old. Like, it couldn't, in my opinion, for everything we saw on that trip, it couldn't have been the better play. It was work, and a not a chip shot on a buck we hunted for 3 days. And so we did it. We quartered him up, threw it in the sacks, and these guys are like, all right, well, we'll load up. I'm like, man, the one thing y'all aren't going to do is pack my antelope out. Like, that's fine. It's just like, I love that moment. So Coulter's like, no, man, we're not you don't get, our clients do not pack their own meat out. And I'm like, this one does. Like, it's, I'm like, man, I respect everything else. Like, you guys can handle the quarter. Like, I'm good. Packing this thing out is my job. And so they let me do it. Now, he bartered. He's like, well, I'm going to take, I think he took two of the quarters or two of the maybe the hinds. I don't, we split it up, but he's like, this is kind of, I feel like this is my job too. Like, this I love as well. So I'm like, all right, cool. I can respect that. It's an antelope. It's not like it's going to be strenuous on either of us, even if
Yep.
it's just the point. My animal, I want to pack him, and we pack out, man. It just, again, taking that scenery in, talking with these guys, having a great, mile and a half walk back to the truck, and we won. We put a plan together, and it panned out. So from there, everything was handled the way you would expect it to be handled. I mean, we got the meat cooled off, got it in town well, before we got into town, we got it in a cooler, cooling off, and they're like, well, what do you think for the rest of the day? I'm like, well, shit, I want to go look at some more antelope. Can we do that a little bit more while we're here, man? My trip's over. I want to see some more animals. So, like, yeah, well, we got nothing else to do. Let's go. So we did, and then we found, I'm not it well, we found, I'll just say in case people listen to this that know the area, out of respect for these guys, I won't say, but we found a good group of bulls in a very killable spot. So, and they had some elk hunters coming in. So that was cool. Yeah, we he's like, man, there was one really good bull in it. So yeah, they're like, yeah, man, you want to go look at some animals? We'll go do that some more. They have some guys coming in, so like, it'll help us, if we find
Yeah.
some other. Yeah.
Yep.
So we didn't do it long, but it kind of, for me, it fulfilled that last minute, like, because I don't want to leave. So let me try to take in as much as I can. So then we got to town, and butcher, there's a meat processor already set up ready. They call when you're on the way. So they're like, the meat processor is expecting you. And all you do, walk in, hey, this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want. Ordinarily, I would do my own meat, and I had a cooler to bring this back. But I think for the sake of being able to talk to our folks about the process who may not want to do it that way, I went ahead and got it processed.
There's
So,
it to you.
yeah, well, no. So they won't. They have a shipper that they use that will transport it to me. That was a little more expensive than what I think it should be. So I'm going to work with either Coulter or Patrick they'll pick it up and ship it to me. I'm still going to have to pay a shipping charge. It's just that the other guys fee was a little higher. So I would recommend, if you're going out there, let's go on the front end and figure out, and maybe, maybe this way I'm doing it is the better method. Or if somebody doesn't really care, you know, it then having the shipper they use is fine. But there is one. It's already in place as far as logistics, handled, ready to go. You don't have to do anything if you want to use that shipper that they use. They just ask, "Hey, what cuts do you want? How much?" Boom, 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 and off you go. They'll call you when it's ready. Then we go over to the taxidermist. I'm just doing a euro. Taxidermist also ready for us to get there. It's shoot, Wilderness. Oh man, Patrick's gonna kill me. Wilderness Innovations, Wilderness Creations, I think it is. Anyway, they have them. Dude, I saw their mounts. They're beautiful. They are absolutely beautiful mounts. They do a great job. It was, man, I think my euro was 150 or 200. They'll ship it. Yeah. It's the norm, right? Actually, a little, I mean, my freaking euro in Hawaii was like 350, which is more than what I want, but it freaking came back nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah.
it crazy
Let
how
me see.
heavy those sheep skulls are?
Yeah.
They're so heavy.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't think that was bad, and they'll ship it. And so, when they're ready, it'll be here. But they had I'm well back in line on getting mine done. So,
Nice.
but everything's handled. They're called ahead of time. You don't have to do anything. You're just along for the ride.
Well-oiled machine, it sounds like.
And that was it. It's a very, from start to finish, people don't show up late. They're ahead of time. They're ready to go. There's a game plan. You want for nothing. Great animals, both quality and quantity. And, for the antelope side of it, it's not physically a challenging hunt. Let's just work on people getting at the minimum 3 points. I don't know next year that we'll be able to do it with 3, unless some other, if there's some other ranches picked up. I don't know that would be the case, but let's at least look at, if somebody has 3 and they want to do it, let's have the conversation and see kind of how things are shaking out.
And if,
But four
by the
points.
way, if you need help with applying, getting your points, give us a call and we'll help you with that.
Yep. Yep. Nick will knock it out of the park for you. I think that's about it, man.
Okay.
For that one, I mean, it's just like you said, well-oiled machine and great people. There was, they're my personality jived with them. So, I don't know how everybody else will do. I can't imagine it'll be any different. These guys were, it ain't hard to talk to them, and it was nothing but cutting up, having a good time, talking about hunting. They want to hunt. They're hunters. They want to put people on animals and see smiles on faces. So, yeah, great time, great outfit. We have a great partner there for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to go on a good antelope hunt, let us know. We've got them.
Yeah.
Yeah. We really do. Cool.
Yeah, my man. When you going again?
I don't know. I've been sticking close to home this year. Hopefully next year I can get out and do some more stuff. I had a tough year. Just a lot going on this year. So, well, happens.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna take my boy out there on this hunt. He's got 2 points in Wyoming. So I told Patrick 2 years from now, hopefully we can still do it with 4. I'm gonna put him on him.
Good deal. That'd be great. Very.
Yeah.
And you got good video?
I have to, yeah, oh man, they got a great video of that shot on him. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's yeah, you see that vapor trail? You saw it, right? The vapor trail. I mean, it's just,
I've
God,
had people
it's
sending me
beautiful.
videos since hunting
All the
season
time.
started. It's crazy. They all kind of blur together, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, this thing drops like a sack, man. I mean, it's a great video. Yeah.
very cool. That's awesome. Good deal.
Yeah.
Well, that it?
That's it, man. Hit us up if y'all want some antelope, whether it's Wyoming or Colorado, New Mexico. Montana might be tough. I don't know about Idaho. We got anything in Idaho for? I don't think we do for
We
antelope.
used to. We don't right now. We had a really good ranch, but it sold.
Dang.
So yeah.
Yeah, Wyoming need points, but Colorado, New Mexico, we can get you in next year.
Yep. Cool. Should we talk about the new Colorado inventory that we might have for this year?
Let me have that conversation with. Yeah, I'll. Yeah, I can call them here in a little bit.
Stay tuned.
I don't think we're.
Follow us on social media. Make sure you're on our newsletter. There's going to, if you're interested in mule deer, elk, we picked up a new ranch potentially that has some inventory this year. And
it'll go out quick. If
you can,
we get the thumbs up and it sounds good, we've had one hunter that's there already
shot it.
with great success. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. Stay tuned.
Yep. All right, guys.
All right, brother.
See ya.